Hey guys, it's Ellie, and today I want to tell you a story about an experience I had in New York, and it is a scary experience that I had here, and I think it's going to be really interesting to you. I'm going to start a series of New York centered videos that are going to be in a playlist so that anytime you guys have questions or comments about living in New York, which I do, then you can watch the videos and leave me comments there or on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram about what you want to know. So I hope you enjoy this story. It's about a night that I had working at this place for like 6 months, and it was terrifying. So let's get started. A couple years ago, I used to work at this little store on Park Ave, and it was this little tiny store, and we used to hold baggage for tourists. And it was this little hole in the wall thing, just all glass entrance, but this tiny little store. So at the time, it was just me working that night. We just had one person manning the front desk, and that night it was me. My shift was from the evening until like midnight. And so I got a lot of the drunk people coming in and, you know, wanting to talk about, what do you do? What are you doing here? You know, whatever. And I would just sit there on my laptop, like watching Netflix or whatever, because my job was just to, you know, be there for when people came, protect the luggage that was behind me, and all of that stuff. So one night this guy walks in, and I don't know if he was drunk or on drugs or what, but he was like totally crazy. He stumbles in and he's like talking to me in gibberish and, you know, whatever, and he's telling me he wants to take me on a date and all this stuff, and I just am like, okay, great, so, you know, I think it's time for you to leave. If you're not gonna, you know, drop off your luggage, then go ahead and get out of here. And he's like, okay, yeah, and but he won't leave, and he keeps like coming behind the counter and like trying to touch me. So finally, like, I stand up and I'm like literally pushing him towards the door, trying to get him to leave. And I get him out the door, and I'm going to shut the glass door and I'm gonna lock it because it's like 11:30 at this point, and this man is all about trying to get me to go on a date with him, and he will not take no for an answer. And finally, he like jumps at me and kisses me on the face, and he's like, just give me a kiss, just give me a kiss and then I'll leave, give me a kiss and your number. And I'm like, no, just leave. So finally I just like push him out the door, shut and lock the door, and I think it was either that night or the next one I'm going to tell you about that I called the police. I don't know. The second time at that job. And I love that job. Like, I love that job. I would work that job to this day because it was so amazing, and I got to meet so many people, and I only had these 2 instances that were bad, and then the company changed their policy after these, and we had more than one person at the place at night. But the second time, I was sitting there doing my normal thing, watching Netflix. I think I was watching True Blood at the time, waiting for customers to come in so that I could help them. And these 2 guys walk in, and they're like, oh yeah, cool, what's this? Like, totally normal. They don't seem drunk or on drugs or anything. They seem like just normal dudes in their 20s. I was 19 at the time. I'm sitting there and they're like asking me about stuff, and then they start to get really creepy, and both of them move behind my desk thing and get in the blind spot of the camera that we had, the security camera that we had in the store. And I stand up and I'm trying to get them to like move towards me so they can be in the camera, so at least everything is on camera if anything were to happen. And they won't. They just stood right there in the blind spot. And they're like, are you alone in here? I was like, no, my manager's in the back. And the guy's like, this is a really small place. I don't think that there's a desk in the back. I don't think there's anyone back there. I think it's just you. And I'm like, nope, he's back there. And the guy and the other guy that was with him stops. He looks towards the back of the store and he yells. He's like, anyone here? Anyone here? Or is it just her? Go ahead and say if you're here. And I'm like, holy crap. This is getting really, really terrifying. So no one answers, of course, because it's just me. And he's like, I guess it's just you. That's great. That's really good. And I'm like, he's like, don't you think that that's not safe? And I'm like, we haven't had any problems, so. And then he reaches for my headphones, which I had on my desk connected to my iPod, I think, at the time. And he's like, what are you listening to? What are you listening to? And I'm just like, I'm just listening to Radiohead. And I'm just like trying to get them to leave me alone. But at the same time, I just want to give them whatever they want so that they will not murder me. It was so terrifying. So he ends up, I'm like, I'm gonna go have a cigarette, because at the time I smoked. That's a story for another video. Because I just wanted to get them out of the store, and I had a feeling they would follow me. We didn't keep any cash in the store. Everything was electronic with this thing on an iPad, so there was no cash, nothing for them to steal. So I didn't feel weird leaving them alone if that were gonna happen. I just needed them to follow me outdoors so that I could run back inside and lock the door. So I was like, I'm gonna have a cigarette. Do you guys smoke? And they're like, oh yeah, let's go smoke. He's like, I'm gonna bring your iPod and listen to some Radiohead. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. So I grab my cigarettes and we walk right outside the door and we're standing there. And remember, it's all glass, so I can see inside and the camera can see us. So luckily I had gotten them outside to where the camera could see them, because the camera can see right outside the store into the street. So the guys are literally standing on either side of me, like right in my face. And I'm just trying to have a cigarette and whatever so I can not, you know, freak out and die. And I knew that they weren't gonna leave me alone. So I'm standing there smoking, trying not to freak them out, because I know that if I run, they're gonna just grab me, because they were literally flanking the sides of my body. So one guy has my headphones in his ears and he's listening to Idiotech by Radiohead, which was my favorite song at the time. And he's like, he takes it out and he's like putting it in my face. And he's like, listen to this. You need to listen to this. Just put it in your ear and listen. And I'm like, oh God, another tie to this dude. And so I put it in my ear and I'm like, yeah, I love this song. It's really great. And then I give it back to him because I did not want to be like not hearing what was happening. So I was like, anyways, I'm gonna go right now. And they're like, where are you going? Don't you, you know, do you not get scared that someone's gonna come and do something to you? Like two guys are gonna show up and do something to you when you're all alone here in the city working at this place at night? And I'm like, is this where I die? Like I literally thought that night was my last night on this earth. And I was like, nope, you know, I feel completely safe. You know, we're on camera and everything is fine. And they're like, oh, well, I guess we could always just steal the tapes. And I'm like, sorry, I don't know how to get to them. I don't know. And they were like, okay, and handed me back the iPod and the headphones. And I walked back inside. They walked away. I locked the door and called the police. Yes, that's the one where I called the police. So the NYPD shows up. Sorry, NYPD, you were not that helpful. They show up like 30 minutes later, write down all these notes. I don't have any proof of any of this because I don't have the security tapes. But, you know, I'm like terrified to go home because this went up to closing time. So the cops were like, oh yeah, we'll get you a cab. And there were no cabs that night. So they were like, sorry, you gotta take the train. And I'm like, can't you just like escort me home in your NYPD car? Like there are so many cadets in the area where I worked that there were so many police cars who could have taken me home and made sure I got home safe. But no, I took the train. I ended up being completely fine, but it was absolutely terrifying. So guys, that's the story. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was interesting to you. Like I said before, leave any questions or comments down below. Tell me what you guys want to know about New York and I will film that in this, you know, series playlist situation. And you know, I'm an open book with you guys. So whatever you guys want to know, let me know down below. I will either answer it there or put it in a video or both. So guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss a beat, and I will see you next time. Bye. You can do the Atkins diet, you can do, you know, your own variation of the, you know, paleo diet or whatever you want to do. I'm just asking that you journal your weight loss process with me. And then every time we do a weight